Hey guys, it's Ty with Ty the Dog Guy on the Daily, and I want to talk about crate training. Crate training is important for the majority of dogs, and its important level of importance, I guess is a better way to put that. Its level of importance is often related to other factors, including age, maturity, the amount of training that's gone into a dog, things like that. And so what a crate does is it does a number of things. In the beginning stages of training your dog to be in your home, it's a safe spot, it's a calm spot ideally, where the dog can relax, but essentially not do anything wrong. And that's the big part. Because when you've got a puppy or a new rescue dog in your house or any kind of dog in your house, they don't know house rules. And so when you're not around or you can't watch that dog, they may want to go to the bathroom on the floor, they may not. They may want to chew, they may not. And so in any case, the crate is a good tool for preventing them from doing that. Dogs are creatures of habit, they're creatures of conditioning, so if we prevent them from going to the bathroom indoors and chewing up your stuff and other bad things like that, oftentimes, that's the lion's share of getting a dog to be good in your home. So here's the thing. A lot of folks want to move away from the crate faster than they should. And I think there's a few reasons. They look at the dog in the crate and they say, oh, my poor dog, I wouldn't want to be in a crate. And this is, of course, while they're going to work at a cubicle all day or something like that. Or, that wouldn't be fun for me, or maybe it doesn't fit in the house very well, or maybe it's just a little bit of a hassle, that extra step of crating up your dog rather than just leaving the dog out, things like that when you leave the house. And so like I say, a lot of people want to move away from the crate too quickly. The problem with that is that anytime you move away from any training tool, whether it's a leash, a crate, food, treats, when you move away too quickly, the pattern hasn't really set in. And so patterns take different amount of times depending on what we're asking the dog. So, I don't know, in a week or two with a bunch of repetitions, I might be able to get the dog to sit really, really reliably or lie down really, really reliably. It's not terribly difficult for the dog to do, and therefore we need less repetitions to accomplish it. But being able to leave the dog loose in the house, the dog essentially needs a lot of repetitions, quote unquote. He needs hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of repetitions of not peeing on the floor. And I know that's kind of silly, like a repetition of not doing something, but he needs that. Or she needs hundreds or thousands of repetitions of encountering your shoes or a couch cushion and not chewing it up. And so, just like with sit, being a new behavior that we teach a dog, being loose in the house while we're gone is essentially a behavior as well, although it's more complex. There's more things that go into it. There's more options. When it comes to sit, the dog's options are sit or don't. That's about it. When it comes to being loose in the house, the dog is presented with, this myriad of options, or myriad options rather, where, I could lounge around, I could get nervous and chew, I could get on the couch, I could bark at the window and tear stuff up, I could poop on the floor. The dog's presented with so many options that in order to overcome all of those options, we need a lot of repetition. So that's where the crate comes in. It says that when I'm not in a position to give you repetitions, you're going to go somewhere where you can just learn to be calm. And in that sense, the crate becomes what I call a silent teacher. It's just there. It's a crate, it's a kennel, whatever you want to call it, and it's just there, and the dog's just there, and the dog learns this skill set of how to just be calm. Now, when it's time to get rid of the crate, and not get rid of the crate, but when it's time to shift away from the crate and shift the focus of the crate, we want to do it in small stages. And so I'm not going to have my dog be a year and a half and say, wow, dog's doing great, hasn't pooped in the house or peed in the house in over a year, hasn't chewed anything up in over a year, is great. All right, 8 hours loose outside of the crate while I'm gone at work. That's going to backfire almost every time. And so we want to do when we wean away from the crate, we want to do it in phases of ideally size and time. So time would be obvious. We do a bunch, like literally I have my clients, my folks in the very beginning, like walk across, leave your dog out, walk across the street and come back. And this is like usually when the dog's a year and a half or something like that. And then, that minute loose in the house turns into 5 and 5 turns into 10. And we're doing a bunch of repetitions, getting a lot of repetitions. And then we get to a half hour, we get to an hour. Usually, if I get to 2 hours, 3 hours, I can make bigger jumps. So if we get to 2 hours, I can often go from like 2 hours to 4 hours pretty easily. Whereas I can't necessarily go from 5 minutes to 10 minutes that easily, or something like that. You need smaller jumps at first and bigger jumps later. And so in any case, in time, we want to gradually wean it up to where if my goal was 8 or 9 hours while I'm gone, well, I'm probably going to take 6 months to do that, literally. Because in the grand scheme of things, 6 months isn't that much in a 12 or 13-year lifespan of a dog. And then, like I say, size. Now, this isn't always possible, but in a perfect world, once I feel like my dog's doing great and is ready to start weaning off of the crate, I would like to use a bathroom, a laundry room, somewhere where I'm fairly confident that if the dog did something wrong, it wouldn't be that bad. Like, I don't know, if a dog pooped in the bathroom versus pooped on the living room floor on the carpet, there's a difference, and I'd probably rather the dog did it in the bathroom. So anyways, ideally, I'm going to partition off parts of the house, whether that's, like I say, a laundry room or a baby gate in the kitchen. And every house obviously is set up different, so it just kind of depends. But anyways, ideally I can do that. And so like I say, as I'm doing that, I'm taking my time. I'm taking months. And that's kind of the gist of what I wanted to talk about in today's podcast / vlog, is I wanted to talk about this concept of don't be in a rush. You're going to have this dog for a long time. And if you're in a rush and you do it and you try to do it in 3 weeks or 1 month rather than 4 months or 5 months, there's a halfway decent chance that you create issues that you then have to fix. And issues to fix are way, way harder than issues to avoid. And so like I say, you'll be in such better shape if you just take it slow and wean the dog off the crate slowly. Don't be like a lot of folks who anthropomorphize, which is essentially giving human-like characteristics to non-human entities. And don't say, oh, well, I wouldn't like being in a crate. Well, you know what? Your dog wouldn't like sitting in traffic, and wearing a belt and, going to work every day at an office or something like that. So just because one species wouldn't like it doesn't mean the next species isn't totally fine. So anyways, take your time with crate training, take your time with weaning off of crate training, and you'll be in much better shape.